Hello, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, September 30th, 2021, and I want to go over a couple concepts in this video. This is going to be a different video compared to my weekly breakdown series. This is completely separate. I just figure I want to give you guys some help, some pointers. In this video, I'm going to go over counter trend trading and why I don't really do counter trend trading. And so I want to give you guys an example. We're looking at CAD CHF, and right now we can see a very obvious uptrend. So the downtrend kind of ended around September 20th and 21st, and then an uptrend began. So at the time, the market was already trending up, and then they had a week of breakdown and consolidation, and after that, price decided it's time to go up for the next week. So that's what we're seeing currently. Now, when we do go back in time, let me just scroll back a few days. What can we see? We see the price was in fact trending up from the 19th of August until the 7th of September, and then it congested, and then eventually, about a week and a half later, a downtrend began. That only was short-lived. So, number one, I don't trade downtrends because they are very short-lived and very unpredictable. Therefore, if you are in a counter trend trade, what may happen is out of nowhere, price may reject your position target and it will go against you. And there doesn't need to be very much explanation except for it's time for the market to resume its trend. And you don't want to just be taking trades based off of chance and luck. So that's number one reason why I don't trade counter trends. Now going a little bit more into the anatomy of it, when we look at the 21st of September, I'm actually going to go into the smaller time frame so we can see price action closer to that day. So there is a downtrend that I explained on the larger time frame, and as you can see, on the 21st of September, price actually decided on creating some higher lows and broke a region, creating a new higher high. Therefore, we're going to test these lows down there. As long as they hold, we're going to continue and push price towards the upside. Now, one thing that I'm going to do is, one moment, let me just double check what is going on here. So I'm going to actually explain this again. I had a brief interruption. So there's a breakout, and what do we see? We're going to respect this region down below, and as long as this region is respected, we can see price continue towards the upside at the red line I have marked off there. So let's just let it play out. I already seen this in theory, so it's no big deal, no big question. There we go. So it did reach that. Like I said, this was a continuation of the uptrend. So number two, the opportunities I see in a counter trend trade is basically for the actual trend trader to look for one of two things: a complete trend reversal, meaning the counter trend is picking up momentum leading into the trend reversal. That would signal to you that it's time to go in that opposite direction. But if it does not signal a trend reversal, the only thing that's going to be different is the actual fact that it was going to go into what I call a consolidation. Consolidations are good because those are accumulation phases when it comes to looking for the bigger trend. So if this was on a uptrend, we need these moments of consolidation for one, for profit taking, and two, for being able to readjust. So what are we seeing now? Seeing some sort of accumulation phase. This is getting into this week. This was the end of last week. Price kind of went choppy at the top for the 23rd to 24th. So then it started pushing towards the upside, doing a little struggle, still kept going. As you guys see, along with each counter trend move, it failed, and then there's another 75 pips that it moved between the 24th to 27th. This is how trends accumulate, like they just build slowly like this. So here we go. Another one on the 27th. Counter trend move. It was short-lived. There was warning, but we all know it's probably going to keep going down. and it keeps going up, then it drops down. So you can see it's very unpredictable and very um, abnormal movements if you do try to go in the opposite direction of the actual trend. And what we're seeing now is just kind of same thing. It's found some lows, and we are looking at some potential breaks towards the upside. It already breached it a couple times. And that's where I'm at right now. So this is CAD CHF. I was short. I had to come out short the entire day yesterday, actually. So I got in the trade and I tried to short it, and it went down a couple of times. As we can see close to where my stop loss now is. I had TP targets down below, and once I saw that it was getting into the 24-hour period and price no longer wants to trend in the downside, it's been struggling to go down for the past 24 hours. So what I did was I abandoned that trade idea because it's not a good idea to sit in counter trends for number three. Tip number three, don't sit in a counter trend trade for more than a few hours. If you're in the trade for more than a few hours and it's not going in your favor, if you are still experiencing a struggle to generate more profits, then it's probably a good idea to get out of the of the counter trend. One of the most primary reasons is if it loses steam, since it's already short-lived, it's going to lose steam, which gives more strength to the actual trend to wipe out anyone in that counter trend. So anyone that is bearish hair, their stops right above around the 70.733 area, and then there's also stops right above the 0.7391 area. So you have to be careful with that. So that's just an idea of a counter trend video. Let me go over one more pair briefly. We can see Euro GBP. Go back about a day ago, a couple of days ago. We see that the price was actually on an uptrend for quite a strong push. So if you were in a counter trend at the beginning of the 28th, you would be stopped out and you'd be sitting there not really knowing why if you don't have a reason. So there was one attempt to the downside. Let me get back. There was one attempt to the downside that failed. There was another attempt that failed. And so that's what they do with counter trend trades. There's this constant pushes against the actual trend, and then once the downtrend is over, you can see how all of these were different attempts, different people, different groups of people thinking it's going to go down, along with this high up here around 0.8576. There is just different groups of traders in all of these attempts. So what it's going to do is going to bring it down to a point. You can't see it from now, so you have to go back. The point of reference was 0.852. That was on the 26th. So when I zoom out, what do I see? Let's go back to the 26th. 0.852. Okay, so it was somewhere around here. But as you can see, 26th and then 27th, it led into a drop. So this entire area, that was what the counter trend was trying to struggle. It was bouncing off of the resistance that was created by a multi-day rally that led into that resistance. There was profit taking that needed to be grasped, and that's what that counter trend's purpose was, to profit take and to knock out any retail stops that might have been down below. Then it consolidated for a few days, and then it finally broke out. That's why I have identifiers for getting in and out of trends. You don't want to get into a trend when it's just about to be counter trend, and you don't want to get out of a trade or position when the trend is just about to take off. So those are things that I highlight in my new content, and I'm actually going to release to some of my private coaching students. I'm actually doing private coaching for just a short period of time. So right now, I just recently opened it back up. I have some free time this next quarter, and I want to actually help as many of my students as possible. So you cannot be a part of the private coaching if you don't take the academy first. So unfortunately, if you are not an academy student, there's no way you can get into my private coaching program. But if you are an academy student, either if you're currently one and you're still working on completion of that program, or if you are an academy graduate, even if you're a prospect and you're just interested in joining the academy, as long as you become a student, then yes, I can open up the avenue of private coaching to you. But if not, I don't have time to really teach people that don't really understand the basic core concepts of my system. And yes, in this video, it may look like I'm losing. I mean, that's something else that I highlight, being able to sit through drawdown and not really have that much emotional attachment to whatever you're doing, knowing that if you're wrong for a reason. This is 35 pips. Like, I know that this is a day trade. Regardless of whatever, this is going to hit my stop loss or even my profit target within the next 24 hours. My profit target is far away because there's a potential 192 pips away, because I'm looking for one of these surges. If I can get one of these surges, that's a solid 80, 90 pip. So it's very possible for that target to be hit in 1 or 2 days. And with the market switching over to a new quarter and a new month, there's going to be a lot of volatility. By being able to understand my strategies, I have different strategies. I have a London breakout strategy. I have a U.S. breakout strategy. I have an Asia session strategy. I have a day trading, intraday trading, swing trading. All the strategies you can really think of when it comes to being able to put all these pieces together. I have a little tips for each and every trading style and method. It comes naturally easy to me. So like I said, I have entries that are in the intra time frame, but I have exits that may actually be in the weekly exits or monthly exits. So that's one of the great things about trading my way. You can maximize your targets and you can minimize your risk, and it will all make sense. So guys, this is all I'm really explaining to today's videos. Hopefully you have a better understanding of counter trend trading, and I'm going to upload this along with my next video. My next video I'm going to go over is actually going to be on gold. I'm actually going to show some trades in gold, and yeah, I have a couple more orders I just placed like a couple hours ago, so give it some time. They're trend trades, and yeah, I'll go over gold shortly in my next video.